Alrighty.
The perfect frog.
So now we're gonna be moving on to the whole victim premise right now. Uh, well, let's start off with something obviously really easy. You guys can say it in like 2 to 3 words. But what is a victim for you guys?
Someone's been like fucked up by somebody else or some sort of action. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. No, that's it.
Simple.
Okay. Try.
Trying to drag us back into P.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to stay polynomial.
Speed running.
Or speed running.
Someone accused of a crime they didn't commit.
Okay. Go ahead. Z. We're going for you with your first letters, so just FYI, except your S because, yeah.
Yes.
You ass.
What is a victim?
Question is, what is a victim?
A person who gets targeted? I mean, hey, no offense. I just took some edibles.
All right, Y or
Why
P?
am I high?
No, not you, motherfucker. Shut up.
No.
P.
P.
We're gonna go with P.
Oh,
What's a victim, sweetie?
I would agree with or S's version, someone who got fucked up by somebody else, either physically, emotionally, or mentally.
Hmm. Okay. And over here, what's your opinion on what's a victim? What is a victim?
He took
Oh,
mushrooms.
I was gonna go for like usually my perspective is hey, someone who got by someone, I guess. That's one.
Okay, well, for the majority's sake, I would believe that a victim is someone who, I guess, feels have been targeted by something. They've expressly
traumatized.
dealt with something, whether it be self-deprecative or self-induced, or it also could be from an outside source, like from somebody else, obviously. With that in mind, are there differences between, now and before, where obviously, we've expanded our vocabulary, we've expanded on mental well-being and so on and so forth, that you think maybe we're, I guess, aligning too much with the current times when it comes to being a victim and having to, I guess, treat them in a special manner versus what we were used to back when we started growing up?
I don't know, bro. Shit changes. Just be nice to people. That's really all it boils down to. Someone's like, yo, I hate it when people like my wife hates it when I chew with my mouth open. Or like, chew and she can hear me eating at the table. Makes her fucking crazy, right? I think it's silly. But I don't eat loudly around my wife.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kindness, bro. That's all it is. Like 5 extra seconds
Just be
of my
kind,
time can make
bitch.
somebody. That's exactly, dude. 5 extra seconds of my time can make somebody fucking happy. Well, like, why not?
I'm sorry.
You know what I mean? It doesn't fucking cost me shit. So
All right. Or T.
Very distracted. I guess in regards of the society we're in, we are more inclusive in quotations because we know more about mental illnesses and understand better that people have different lives from each other. So I guess we're more approachable in the way we deal with people that say they're victimized. Like we're more considerate compared to back in the day, I guess.
Okay.
It was if you did have a problem back in the day, it was more kind of like you deal with it, you suck it up, or you had like that one person that kind of had your back. Nowadays, there's a lot of different media that kind of can provide that help. Not necessarily amazing all the time, because having a lot of different sources of help doesn't always mean to a better success chance with people that think they're victims of something. Sometimes they get very bad advice on how to deal with the victimhood that they, or the victim mentality that they have. So it's kind of, there's more options, but it's harder shot, harder chance to find what they need, basically.
Okay. How about you, Z? Do you think that we're being more inclusive and uh, approaching the situation right, or do you think maybe there should be a rollback? Like, what are your thoughts?
I mean, it goes from a person to person, but nowadays, and I'm like serious about it, serious about it. So people are too sensitive, and especially they take shit too serious, even if there's a joke, or they bring something random, and they're like the person just like, but that's fucking traumatizing to me. I don't know, like, you get what I mean, right?
I probably do.
So, I don't know. I'm a traumatized myself through my shit, and I was a victim before. I just stopped being the victim because I don't know, manned up, I guess. Yeah. It's just go by the person. If the person just want to be stronger than that, just be.
All right. What about you, P?
It's kind of both depending on the person. The thing is, I do think we are a lot better at having people speak mental health whenever they feel the time is ready, because I have done so myself. But I also think that there are too many people that enable the victimhood and enable this behavior, which just leads them to grow more in the worst path versus, actually getting help and growing and, trying to become successful with their life. So
So you're
that's
saying that it pretty much boils them to being um, immature to a degree.
there's yeah, there's either one or the other. One of them will actually decide to grow, or the other one will decide to use it as a manipulation tactic and use it to get things out of others by like begging of sorts and basically not taking accountability for taking action on your mental state and things like in that nature.
I mean, we also have.
So I'm kind of down the middle
Mm-hmm. You're down the middle. Gone.
when it comes to like um, people saying that everyone is too sensitive and people saying that we are doing better with our mental health.
Mm-hmm. I guess you could say that we can only say that we're doing better with our mental health if we actually sit there and resolve it versus sitting back and just saying that this is my life, this is my reality, cater to me, I'm a Karen.
Yeah, because you can get
Crying
advice
about
from
it.
someone, or you can get someone's advice and you could decide to not take it. And when you don't take it, like they're gonna not want to give you advice anymore because you're not helping yourself. You have to help yourself in order to reach that next level, to become a better person. And a lot of people don't do that until like some of them they click and realize that's what they're doing and then they snap out of it. But other people they don't. They don't ever leave that state.
Mm-hmm. And I've noticed that a lot of this stems to also make people far more alone than they've ever been before, at least in the sense of like feeling heard.
Definitely.
Okay.
The thing is,
Well,
they also seclude themselves in that mental state because they also partially probably don't want to burden others, but they also, lash out at people and all of this stuff. Like, there's a lot to it.
okay.
I'm sorry.
I feel like he's zoned out. You ready for it?
Oh no, I was just paying attention.
You weren't paying attention. Are you high too?
No, I was paying attention.
No,
Oh,
he's
oh.
just
Zoning
beautiful,
out.
my dude. He's just
Thank you.
beautiful
I
blue.
think you're beautiful as well, my friend. That's why I hang out with you. But no, I think for the most part, Z said most of the things I would have said. And yeah, it's kind of similar to that whole conversation we were having before with like trauma, just victimizing, or there's primarily just two parts in victimizing. There's people who are victims, but kind of make it in a way that it turns into a slight amount of narcissism, and if it's just I'm so poorly treated, or like I suck so much that I'm special. It becomes to that degree, and if it becomes to that degree, it's just a whole different story, and it's just part of how you can't get out of that hole anymore because you kind of get hooked on that.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from that, the whole actual like people who get hurt and don't really know how to like be helped, that's a whole different spectrum. And that stuff is I kind of forgot where I was going at, but yeah, they mainly said more of the stuff I wanted to say about the whole part.
Okay.
It's just so I don't really have a big old thing to
Spiel.
add to it, but
Mhm.
yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Well,
that's
because
it.
from what I've noticed, a lot of people tend to either gyrate to or either or, and then you have the very chill people who are always in between because they're conscientious of other people as well as to themselves. So I think it takes a lot of insight, I guess, when it comes to that. Um, we obviously care for every individual, or yeah, for every individual to a sympathetic level. Like obviously, if your dog died, I'm gonna be there like, damn, I'm sorry, that sucks. It's not a good place to be. Or you could be even further deeper in that sympathetic level where you're like, oh my God, not Jerry. I miss you, Jerry. I'm going to always miss you. But there are times where we hold no sympathy and we literally tell people to fuck off all the time. I mean, I've witnessed it at least. I don't know if you guys do. You guys seem like very chill individuals between S and Blue.
I
And
do, yeah.
you guys seem like you guys deal with a much healthier side of VR. Um, there are levels of abuse and attention and care. How can we accurately perceive someone's a victim from someone who's using like a label or any of those labels uh, as a mechanism to manipulate and deceive someone? Like, how can we tell?
So, like, my view is I'm not so grandiose or such a mighty view of myself that it's not my job to fix the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I've got a narrow sphere, a narrow locus of control. I can control my own actions, right? And I can control who I choose to associate. So, I mean, just try to be kind, and then if it seems like they're just trying to get one over, toxic and bad for me, like junk food, social junk food, where it's just like, bro, you're always fucking, needing all this energy from me, and like you're never really bringing it to the table for me. Just not gonna chill with. That's all it is. But it's not my job to be like, your experience is worthless, blah, blah, blah. No, fuck that. That's way too much energy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna, like, not chill with you anymore.
Yeah, so that would be the more accurate response because, I mean, even though that causes them to be lonely at some point or another, I guess you need to have that self-actualization to realize that you're doing something that's not in the best interest of everybody. We'll go with Z since he seems primed and ready.
About that, well, I kind of get his point, and it's actually like the whole thing is like yes, because most of the people like don't really want to hang out with people who are basically just keep going with the same shit over and over and over until the moment you just say like what, I don't really want to deal with your shit, just do it yourself, because for some people it's just too much, because
They
people
never
have their
seem to
own
grow
private
from the
life,
experience.
and they have yeah, and most casually, like, we all have our private lives. Everyone here has a goal or has something to achieve, and we cannot just stay there and babysit somebody for fucking few months and you don't earn anything from that,
All right, T.
because everybody goes forward. It's nothing like you just stay in one place.
I mean, based on that whole situation, everyone's got like a different breaking point. So they'll reach a point when people can't have had enough of someone just trauma dumping on them all the time, and they'll just distance themselves, kind of like what S was saying here. But to try and avoid you personally having to reach that point of anger because you've had enough for the whole situation, I'd say it's all based on personal experience. Like, until you've been in that situation yourself, as in like being very annoyed to someone, it's much harder to pick up on those particular traits that people have, or those particular trauma dumps that someone gives you.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're on the younger side, obviously, then you have a more positive outlook on life, or whatever. You're more likely to be more considerate to people. If you've had a good childhood and stuff like that, you're more likely to have a more considerate outlook than people having problems. But as you grow older, you kind of pick up on when people are just bullshitting for the sake of bullshitting. If that makes sense. So
Okay.
you kind of get used to it and you can deal with it more effectively. That's the best way to do it. Yeah.
How about you?
Having gone through something like this has caused me to be more patient with people. So I am known to give people multiple chances to help themselves, redeem themselves in a manner. Especially if they are constantly lashing out at others and trauma dumping and all these behaviors associated with victimhood, as well as me giving them my time and energy and advice. Eventually, I do get to a breaking point, and I have to eventually say, well, this person has to grow by themselves because they're not growing with me. I don't have the patience to give them the time to help them grow. So I basically just hope for the best and let them do their own thing, because the only person that's really going to fix it is themselves. You can't force it upon someone.
Okay. And Boo or B.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
Honestly, coming from experience and all this jazz, don't worry, I remember the question. Don't worry, it's fine.
Okay.
Coming from experience and all that, honestly, the simple solution to this is just if you detect any toxicity or negativity, and if it's someone close to you, this might be really hard because it can kind of feed you that event until it's too late, and you're kind of deep into it, and it's really hard to just say, "Fuck you, no, I don't like you anymore, leave my life," because that might also not be the optimal solution if it's like a family member, and and when they're victimizing themselves in order to manipulate you, uh, like kind of what Z was saying, you can certainly try to help them grow to a certain degree, but if that can't help, I'd say do your best to cut them off, really, because you can't change. I mean, it's not your obligation, but if you can, try it out. Try to help them for a certain amount until you can handle it. But it might work out. It's individual. It might not. But yeah, just toxicity is the general way you can tell when someone is trying to manipulate you, because if they'll get kind of sad if things don't go their way
Mm-hmm.
and angry. It's coming from experience.
I do
Okay, I'm done.
believe that in the midst of sympathy and in the midst of understanding when someone has like these tendencies, I do believe in giving people second chances. I do think that it's a very healthy thing for people to feel heard. However, there's got to be a learning curve. I mean, there's always going to be a learning curve, right, with most people, but they need to be able to establish themselves, especially when they're dealing with an adult world that's more objective than it is subjective. Because a lot of our feelings and I guess traumas, or in this sense feeling as a victim, is subjective, and dealing with outside people, it's not a matter of subjective, it's a matter of objective at that point. And to be able to grow is a significant thing. And if people have to walk away, if people have to sit there and hold your hand and try to help you and you push away, at that point your learning curve is stunted by yourself and not by the others that try to help you in the best with the best intentions, obviously. So the next question I got for you guys is: do you believe that being a victim has more benefits than downsides, at least within our modern day?
No, dude. Because you're jacked up by somebody else. You're a victim in my mind, you know? Or if you're struggling to take accountability for your own actions and, not properly processing and growing, you're going to have a pretty hard time until you learn how to cope with things and grow with things. Nah, that sucks for you, dude. Like, you're going to have a rough go of it in the modern day. Like, things are much harder than they used to be in the past. You have to work very hard to do anything nowadays.
Hmm. How about you, T?
Um, I think in that whole prospect, it's in in the past having a victim mentality wouldn't have helped you that much. It actually could have quite hindered you. But in this day and age, it actually does help you quite a lot in the not in like a day-to-day basis, but like as a society, because everyone nowadays tries to put themselves as a victim online of something, like to fit in with the group. So they kind of form groups of like, oh, I've had this happen to me, feel pity, and it just kind of like it becomes a sheep mentality,
So you
and you
think
feel
that?
like part of something.
So are you saying that it's more like a communal thing where it's like
Yeah,
feeling included, and having
yeah.
a group to
They
go
don't
to,
want to be left out,
a support
so
group, if you will.
they yes, a very strange way of going around it as a whole. Yes, uh,
Hmm.
so I don't think in real life it helps you in the least, because having people pity you or treating you differently because they feel bad about the situation is you know the smartest way to live your life or the best way for your mentality and state of mind. But on social media, especially, um, this is something that people do quite a lot. They purposely cry for the sake of, you know, being with the side that can throw their victim hood onto people that don't claim to be victims.
If you want the long-winded answer, it depends on your values as a person. If it's, you like not working and you don't care about not working and manipulating others, sure, being a victim works. If
Hmm.
not, that would suck. Kind of like that.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Falsifying victimhood is also something that is pretty real, and
Yep.
it is used to manipulate those who are sensitive to these type of things, these emotional connections. I personally knew people in my life that were giving, and also the people that were taking from that person that was giving. They would lie about their living situation, saying that they were homeless and all these other things, being abused by men, so on and so forth, just to get every ounce of what they could get from this person. And it was so disgusting to see because it's just like a cycle that you can't stop as the person that's helping them and the person that's forcing them to help them. But if it's an actual victim, then it's not going to be easy because they are dealing with so much internal turmoil as well as trying to balance reality. Um, one of the two is going to slip. One of the two is going to falter, and you're going to fall into either um, being so down into yourself that you lose reality, or maybe you'll finally go on the upside and you'll dive into reality, and then uh, you'll start to mend yourself.
Yeah, for the most part, we see it where it's like a flip of a coin, like two sides of a coin. Victimhood can either be something that helps you get through something that's terrible, especially if you get help. But other times we see victimhood used either self benefit, or I guess garner a social leg up on others, and it becomes an issue where what is that person's intent with telling me about their whole victimhood mentality, or not victimhood mentality, but more so their levels of being victimized and everything else. Now, where are we in the recording? 30 minutes. Okay, we're going to try to speed through the next part. What?
Oh, do you still have questions?
Yeah, I still have a couple.
Because I didn't realize
Just
he
last
like,
few.
crawled behind me, and I was like, "What the fuck's
There's
happening?"
just the last few.
If I move over there, I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
I'm
totally
being
fine. Yeah.
Fold it into one character.
Yeah, it'd probably be better. That way I could
No,
keep between
look,
two cameras.
gonna
It's
sit
okay.
next to P instead of sanity.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why is everyone on this
Fine
side
then,
now?
dude.
I'm just
Fine
kidding.
then.
I'm
All
just
right.
kidding.
We
I'm
can
just
add a
kidding.
camera
I'm kidding.
this
man.
way.
No. You're not welcome over here. You smell like I don't even know, something unpleasant.
You smell like burnt
Okay,
Tootsie Pop.
that's fine. I
How
smell
dare
like
you.
rotten Tootsie.
Lord have mercy, the
That's
bloopers.
disrespect.
I'm sorry.
Y'all being disrespectful to one another.
I want to hang out with my friend here.
That's totally fine. Yeah.
Basically be like
Move
the
to the
schoolboy
side.
in a classroom, being rowdy.
There you go. You got some space.
Come in.
All right.
But I don't want to.
Come in.
I don't want to be assimilated.
You don't want to be assimilated.
I'm assimilated.
One of us.
I'm
One
stuck.
of us.
Bring yourself a little bit more to the center, at least the both of you. The lot over there. Okay. There we go. That's perfect. Perfect where you're at. All right.
We're on a foreign line right now. Great.
All right. Let me see. All right. Let's get to the next question. Right. We'll get through them as fast as we can.
I don't think that's fast.
It's really rough because you guys give good answers. With any, if not most,
Sorry,
victims, we
thanks.
tend to see ample amounts of people who hide what they experience, or rather dislikes, with portraying that they are a victim. Okay? So, like, say, for example, I suffer with a DID, like true DID, to the literal sense. I have multiple personalities and I'm trying to fix it. I'm trying to go to therapy. Some people of those caliber will actually sit there and not announce it to others, and they'll keep their victimhoods to themselves. Why is it that in VR it seems to be the polar opposite, where we want to share the fact that we are one? And we'll start over here again.
Because in VR, people are more free to be their real selves. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the connections are more ephemeral. If you're not vibing with somebody, you can drop off, make a real thing. But in real life, if I meet somebody, and tell them something that's uncomfortable, or that I'm uncertain about myself, or maybe don't want to be judged for, that's stuck with my identity for life, or for quite a long time. With VR, I might be judged that way for an hour, because I can completely change my. It's a safer place.
So you say that anonymity
Yes,
kind of
fine.
helps play into it a little bit, where the people can just be carefree with it.
It helps people feel safer.
I would also argue with you and say that it also helps people be less accountable for their actions too, unfortunately, when it comes to that, at least. B, what's your opinion on it?
Kind of similar to Sanity's and yours, but if I were to add to it, it's just people don't really have much going on with themselves, so they kind of add it to their personality a bit. I'm the person with DID,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like that.
They make it their personal, I guess, quirk, and then try to gear it towards their whole sense of personality or sense of
I don't
being.
think everybody is like that, but some people just don't have much.
No,
going
of
on.
course we wouldn't want to say that. I mean, that'd be a little obtuse, obviously, but yeah. T.
A lack of responsibility on here, and keeping note of their own actions kind of gives more freedom to people to act without thinking about the person they're just dumping all this information to. They don't have to care about who they're saying what to, because there's just so many people online and so many servers that even if one person doesn't appreciate what you said, it doesn't matter, because they can't really do much about it other than, go to a different server. And at that point, you can just trauma dump to somebody else. So there's no consequences in just doing it on here, pretty much.
Well, let me ask you, since you brought it up, do you think that because people are able to freely trauma dump onto somebody else or whatever and victimize themselves to somebody else, do you think they have less time to truly process what they're sharing with somebody? Because oftentimes not, at least in real life, when you go to somebody's house, you're stuck there until you leave. And at times when you're having those conversations, you get to actually process what you're saying and pull a solution out of it. Yeah?
I think that the people that come on here to talk about it with random people don't actually process it. The people that actually want to deal with whatever is affecting them in their life, it could be a mental disorder or a particular situation, don't go in public and just talk about it like to anyone just for the sake of it. Because if they really do care about something, they don't want to be treated differently because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, on social media, or just people that use it as a thing to stand out or to use as an excuse for
To pander to
the particular
others.
situation they're in, yeah, they'll just dump it onto people and not deal with the situation because it's much easier to get the sympathy than to sort it out if they do have a problem.
How about you, Z? What are your thoughts on it?
Can you repeat the question though first? Because I already
Yes.
forgot.
Give me that prompt.
All right, all
So
right.
was it
We
too long to
definitely need a
first?
prompt at this point. um,
Yeah, I was correct.
okay, so
I mean, wait, hold on. I think I got it.
it's people who
Wait, I
use
need to focus
people
on
who
the
are
game.
Give me your
victims
water.
atypically
You're
either claim it as that they're a victim or they don't, and they say they tried their hardest not to show that they are one, basically.
Yeah, I mean,
Why does it
most
seem opposite in
people are
VR?
using. I mean, it's just because you can just do whatever you want here. And why do you sound like you're in a fucking airplane, my guy?
Go ahead.
See, that's you.
T, you're
Yeah,
airplaning right
you
now.
sound like you're in an airplane.
Go ahead, Z.
All right. So what I was saying is like I can actually agree with sanity because you can be yourself and because you are in a like an anonymous mode, I guess, in VR chat, nobody actually knows you. Most people actually they're just faking their identity who, you know, they wanna be, I guess, because you're just a character in a game. And for me, I'm just trying to find like socialize with people and actually show myself who I actually am because I'm not scared. But like some most of the people, when they meet you at the first time, they just see you happy, sometimes sad, sometimes depressed, sometimes suicidal. I mean, it just goes by people, right? It goes by person to person, right? Because how they did experience you at the first day. Like, I'm mostly as a dumbass. IRL, I'm a dumbass as well. But I'm happy about it because I'm myself. I'm not playing to be somebody else. I'm just myself. I know, and I legit know that you're laughing.
No.
So,
That was probably more fun.
yeah. Oh, okay.
How about you, P?
Nice.
Fuck, I forgot.
Go for it.
general thesis, I think, of what I was thinking um, was as a victim, um, they usually feel some type of embarrassment for whatever they're going through. Hence why they are more to themselves about what's going on, and maybe in a secluded area with trusted people, they'll tell people what's going on with very, very trusted people, close people that they've known for a while. And there's also the other side of it too, where someone may feel like boastful about it because they have gotten through something and they want to share their experience, or they want to vent out to a random person because they don't have an outlet, and um, they get some sense of relief by venting out to someone completely random. At least for the real victims, anyway. That's what I can deduce it to.
Okay. Do you guys believe that maybe we've gone a little too far, at least when it comes to like owning up from either responsibilities, experiences, or our decisions and consequently like forgotten the consequences that come with the victimhood that we present, that we put up, and that it blanketly allows you to
Yes.
disavow any and if not all problems that we face today, at least, because obviously people are going to use it to their benefit. People are going to use it to set boundaries. Do you think that maybe we're just blanketly allowing people to do essentially what they want within the premise that benefits them most, I guess?
Yes.
We'll go from here again.
My whole thing is someone
Oh.
feels like that. Like, why is it my place to like set the straight? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not really my place to judge. I mean, I'm just gonna do me. If I enjoy talking, think that hanging out is vital. I'll hang out with you. If not, I'm gonna move on. All seeing just has to fix every finite time, finite resources. Best time for.
Say, I think you're cutting out occasionally.
Yes.
Oh, God damn it! All right, that was beautiful. What I said was, I've got finite time and finite resources. If I'm enjoying interacting with somebody, I'm gonna hang out with them. If I'm not, I'm not. I'm not the all-seeing God of the universe. So like, why is it my place to like judge, fix whatever with this person? You know what I mean? Either you're worth my time or you're not. Either I'm enjoying interacting, or not. Otherwise, like, I don't know. What? You're not even worth my energy to judge. And like going up and judging you, it's worthless. Why would I even care?
Mm-hmm. B?
Can you like simplify the question a bit, please?
Um. Well, have we gone too far? Like, as in allowing victimhood to have a place within how we interact with one another to a degree that we're dismissing the reasons why they got put into that situation. Like, is it their fault? Is it the fault of the other person? And we're dismissing it by blanketing
You repeated
everything.
The question I asked was simplification.
Oh, okay. Do we sympathize with victimhood so much so that no matter what kind of victim they are, we just dismissively sympathize with them, where it doesn't matter what kind of victim they are, we just give them benefit of the doubt. We don't ask them.
Oh, okay. So are we going too soft on the victims? Is what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes and no. I think that's kind of just human nature to go soft on victims, because that's why they're victims. You know, we treat them well. For the most part, they might need help. and for most people, that I would believe that they would try to help them, or at least not bother them in a certain way. Don't try to make them sadder than they already are.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe we do get a little soft on that, and that might be an individual problem rather than like us in general.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
All right. And T?
It's a really clear divide between this topic, between outside life and online life. Because if you saw a homeless man down the street, the majority of people wouldn't bat an eye and they'd just walk away from them. If someone just asked for money, a homeless man asked them for money, you know, you don't know their backstory. You just know, oh, they're a victim, but you don't care about it. And that doesn't, it doesn't matter what their case was. They could have been a drug addict, or they could have maybe had a bad divorce that ended in that situation, but it doesn't matter. In a real life spectrum, people just kind of walk away and lead their normal life as nothing happens. But online, where stuff is more, people have, in quotations, more sympathy towards it. It's more, it's more about making a story about your your trauma, in quotations, and about making it more relatable to people, so they will give you the sympathy.
Mm-hmm.
And people will spend more time on you compared to a real life subject, because individuals will kind of see themselves in relation to that trauma. They'll be like, oh, I used to get bullied back in the day, or I used to drink too much back in the day. I can relate with this. Let me make friends with this person and talk to them and try and help them out. Where if someone in real life said that to you, you would distance yourself from them because you don't want to deal with that particular situation.
So you're saying that versus from real to online, you deal with the impartiality of where it's like you're a stranger, I don't care, versus we're in a, I guess, social environment, we have to interact. There's a little bit of a forced sense of sympathy towards them, and sometimes we get a little soft when it comes to that versus in real life.
There's like a clear divide between in-person and physical person.
You think of that as kind of interesting, because I would imagine that would be like opposite compared to VR in real life, because they're like a person in front of you and you're the only one around, compared to VR where you can be disassociated immediately, so you have less consequences.
But when someone comes up to you and talks about their problems in VR, there's no strings attached. So you kind of just sit there and deal with the situation. And if a homeless man came up to you and started asking you for money, or just to hear them out, you're more likely to want to distance yourself from them, at least from what I've experienced.
Really? I've never seen people I would like try to help them out.
It depends on how good-willed you are.
Homeless man, yeah, I'd say the majority of the population wouldn't associate themselves with someone in that particular situation.
It depends on your
That's why there's
means.
so many homeless men.
Like what's within your means.
I see.
Z, what's your thoughts?
Obviously, people are nicer, but yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I just meant like people obviously have all different backgrounds and they're more willing to help other people in society and stuff like that. But in the majority of cases, people tend to have an easier time supporting people if there's a divide between them.
Okay.
Or provide that extra.
Just take a break to realize that them two over there are playing like little schoolboys. Playing fucking
They're enjoying life.
Yeah.
They're enjoying life.
I can talk more childish. I can give more childish answers if you want.
No, you're good.
It's wholesome and adorable.
All right. How about you, Z? What are your thoughts on it? Have we gone too far? Are we being too soft on people?
No, it's all good. It's all good. Well, sometimes it's just like meeting a victim, you don't know that person, and especially when they drop that stuff at the first or second day, might be true and might be fake, you know, because that's what it is. VR chat. You don't know who that person is. You've never been in their background. You never like experienced it. Like some people maybe not, some people maybe did, but you cannot get a straight out answer from the person, you know, because that is obviously what basically people do. They say their stuff and they want you to believe it. You get it? Sorry,
Mhm.
I just grabbed your titty.
I was having fun adventure.
We'll rewind on it. No, I'm kidding.
All right.
Essential.
So most of the parts is just like I don't really want to deal with that type of stuff because, like I said, everyone have their own private life. Some of the people they don't really want to deal with that stuff because people saying they're victims. But how the fuck are you supposed to help? You're not there. You're not sitting with them literally next to you, right? I mean, that's kind of obvious. You're not sitting next to them. I mean, you can give them tips, like how my wife were literally telling. I'm basically saying that people can get advices and all of that type of stuff, but if they don't want to do it and they still want to complain, it's obvious that they're not helping out themselves, and for us, it's just a waste of time. Because, like, I'm giving my VR son a lot of advices, but that dumbass still cannot fucking understand anything. So
It's very
that's like
subjective
that's like one of the
as
things.
well as
Like
objective.
I can just say that as an example. My son, my VR son, is a victim. I heard his background. I know who he is, and I know what is going on. And that's the thing. That's how you can see a true victim by that you, for example, spend a lot of time with them. They didn't say their shit after 1 day or two. They told you that after months. And after the months that you got to know them, then you actually get that certain point how you can actually believe that, because you might hear it from, for example, when they say like, oh, this and that, and you actually heard it through the microphone or whatever, like actually the situation, and you know actually what is going on, and you get the certain point, then you actually want to help the person because you hear it or see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is like the same thing to prove something, right? If somebody just tells you, the fuck? Alright? But if somebody just tells you some stuff like, I've been cutting myself. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Like, stop your fucking hand? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
I cannot do that in VR. If I was sitting there, I could fucking do that. I would even fucking hide all of the knives or fucking throw them, or I don't know. But still, every human being.
For that, you have to like help them mentally figure out why the fuck they were doing it in the first place. Once they figure out why they were doing it in
Yeah.
the first place, really that behavior is because a boil up of emotions from a bunch of compiled things, and they need to go through that, but they're not allowing themselves to. That's why they express that in that manner.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
You're good. Do you want to add
It's all
on
good.
to it, P?
Nah, I'm gonna skip on this one.
You're gonna skip
We're
on
gonna have
this
so
one.
much funny time. It's gonna be ridiculous.
A lot of venting. Ooh.
All right. Well, I do appreciate you guys
Can you
coming
just
on.
remind
I
us to wrap
know.
up 30 minutes?
Yeah. I do appreciate you guys coming on. I know there's a lot to, I guess, garner from all this experience, and at least help someone who's maybe struggling on their own, maybe to reach out to other people, reach out for help, at least, indicative to the whole party and whole group. But I do appreciate you guys coming on and answering the questions, because I know they're not easy, but they're not also too hard. So, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Did I fuck up your by the way?
Pardon?
So good, man.
All right.
Did I fuck